All right, and I'm here today with Brittney and Caleb, and we're going to talk a little bit about their path to Brittney and Caleb. So, if you'd help us out here, whoever wants to start, tell us how you got into the photography business.
Okay. I started my photography business back in high school. I had been a dancer and got injured and picked up a camera, I think my freshman year, and kind of fell in love. I took pictures for free for kids that I babysat and eventually started getting paid $25, $50 per session, which is nothing. But I thought it was great. I was making more than I made at my other little jobs that I had. And yeah, I graduated high school. I knew it's what I wanted to do full time. I just went for it.
All right, Caleb, how about you?
That's awesome. Well, I started not in photography or videography. I actually got a degree from MSUM in accounting, and I started off my career working at a small accounting firm and also being the business manager for a church in Detroit Lakes. Brittney and I met in 2014, and we got married in 2015. And at the time, she needed a second shooter to go to weddings, and so I came along and was just helping her with photography on the weekends. And eventually she had the idea that we should add video to the packages. And so she had thought, well, maybe I would start doing some video for them. And so I thought, well, it'd be cool to try. I wasn't super into it at the time, but we did a couple. We got a wedding film back for our own personal wedding, and I thought that was really neat. So we thought that'd be cool to offer to other people. And so I did it for a couple weddings, and it was a huge hit. We booked a whole bunch of video weddings for the next year, and then it got to the point where I was doing two full-time jobs, one full-time at the church in my accounting degree and one full-time job with Brittney, doing Brittney and Caleb, and we just decided I needed to pick one or the other, and so I enjoy doing the creative stuff with video more, and I did that, and so the rest is history.
Okay, so two very, very different roads. Brittney, when did you really first decide this is what I want to do, that photography is really where I want to be?
I have no idea. I think I knew. I worked at a bank in town in a restaurant, and I did not enjoy either of those jobs. And I just liked being my own boss. So from a young age, I knew that was probably going to be my road. You probably remember this. And I was very determined. There was not a lot of family. There were some family members that didn't support it because it's very scary to go out on your own, especially straight out of high school. Like the traditional thing is go to college and then do your job. But I was like, there's online education, there's workshops I can go to. I can still be educated without having to do the traditional path of education. And so, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to Brittney again.
Okay.
If you could do it over, you'd have the do-over. You go back to 9th grade, 10th grade, wherever. Was there anything you would change, anything you would do different second time through?
I don't think so. I think I really did not like my jobs, and I really did not like high school too, if we're being honest. And so I think it was good though to go through it all, as hard as some of it was, because it made me into the business owner I am today and the person I am today, and I guess I don't regret that.
Okay, excellent. So Caleb, I'm going to go with you. So in the photography, videography world, what makes a great day for you? What's the best part of what you guys do?
The best part about what we do is creating something and delivering that to people, and then making them, bringing joy to them, creating things that people enjoy to watch, enjoy to see is really satisfying, fulfilling. So each project is kind of like you get to start with the beginning, and you get to see the end result with everything. Where I think some jobs, like working in accounting, it was just a mundane, everyday task, and there was some joy in getting things to work out at the end of the day, but there was no, and the projects were kind of just ongoing, continuous. When you do a video or create, you start off with an idea, and then you need to follow it through to the completion, and it's satisfying to finish up jobs and have a completed product that people can enjoy for years.
All right, excellent. So what makes, either one of you can take this, what what's a hard day, or what days that don't go so well? What makes that happen?
Well, even though it's it seems like creative jobs are always just super fun and living your dream, and for the most part that's true. But there's also just the office tasks, the drudgery of just kind of having to edit and do tedious stuff. And so there are days where you're just in the office doing things you don't want to do, but you still have to do it because it's a part of the job.
I think a lot of creative people are that they're very creative and they're not business oriented, and that can be pretty tough. You can go out and shoot all you want, and that's the fun part of the job, getting out shooting. But I would say that's 10% of the job. The other 90%, you're in the office
Alone.
editing, sending emails to people, coordinating things, setting up websites, doing. I mean, he's an accountant, and we have to do our taxes. We still pay an accountant to help with taxes. There's just a lot of back end stuff that people don't see on the outside.
Wear a lot of hats.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. So I know Brittney and Caleb is growing and continuously evolving into more and more. If you were going to hire somebody to work for you, what would be some characteristics that you would look for in an employee? What would be something that would be really important for you to have?
Good attitude, just wants to be there, and enjoys what we're doing.
Hard worker,
Yeah.
ask questions. I guess passion about the job.
Obviously, a creative person, somebody who enjoys creating things.
Although we do need people who aren't creative and who can
Yeah,
just
that's
go
true.
get the task done.
Okay, very good. You touched on a little bit about the world of being a small business owner. So, what's the best part of running your own business, being in charge, calling your own shots?
Obviously the best part is being able to set your own schedule. You get to literally decide what
What you do
when
every
what
day.
you do things. The downside is you tend to work a lot more because you're doing it's all on you, and you're wearing a lot of hats. And so you say, well, you can take a day off whenever you want, but if you take a day off, then you're working extra on the weekends. So it's good and bad. It's the freedom that it provides.
The question was the best part.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, the picking your own schedule is great, but I mean, he kind of got to answer this earlier. I love, and I think we both love, like, we get to be a part of people's best moments of their life, whether it's weddings, having babies, families, and capturing those milestones. Like, I guess that's probably my answer.
Yeah.
That we get to be a part of those moments.
Okay.
Very cool spot to be.
And you touched on a little bit, so I think I know what's coming. What's the hardest part about being your own boss and being a small business owner?
Because you can work a lot, you can get burnt out very fast. So we had 2021 was probably our most successful year of our business, which is great. From the outside, our social media looks like we're thriving. We definitely are. Our business is, but we are tired. We're very burnt out. And just navigating, like, how to get through that is.
Yeah, you can tend to, you decide how much you work or how little you work, and when it's like every new job is a paycheck,
Yeah.
it's hard to say no to things, so you book everything.
Yeah.
So that can be
Extra
a problem.
$500 tonight.
That's every small business. It's like you have to find the balance of how much you work, how much you say no. You have to learn how to say no to things.
I can imagine that would be hard, is having to say no or making yourself say no.
Yeah.
I have a good example. This last December, I talked about, like, I'm not going to take any more shoots for the rest of the year, which was 2 weeks. And I'm not even kidding you, within 24 hours, the inquiries that came in my inbox, it was like, our grandma is on her deathbed and we would like some pictures with her before she passes away. How do you say no to that? And all 3 of them were situations similar where it's tough. Like, I've always kind of thought, oh, I just take pictures, but the reality is, like, it is an important job. We are capturing parts of people's lives that it might be their family member's last picture with them, and that's a big deal for people.
Okay, so 2 questions. They're the same, but they're going to be different. So somebody wants to get in maybe the IT pathway or the world of photography, videography. Any recommendations you would make to them? Any advice you would give them?
For things IT creative arts. I say what we do is kind of in the more creative arts, social media things. If it was more an IT type of things, there's a path to like get a degree to kind of do IT computer stuff. For creative arts stuff, there isn't really. You can get degrees, but they don't translate well to actually being an entrepreneur, self-employed. If you want to go down the path that we're on, I would advise people to start out kind of as a side hustle. You can't really just jump out there and expect to have an income. You really got to start small. You can still work a job and work on the side. Like I worked a full-time job and did our business for 2.5 years,
Okay.
and had to slowly build up the video side of our business where I could support both of us. So it's kind of one of those things where if you enjoy it, do it on the side. You can start as a small side project, a side hustle, and then it'll eventually, grow into something that can support you full time.
Okay. Awesome. So the other piece that is somebody's looking at being an entrepreneur. Any classes you'd recommend to take, or just things in general that you would recommend them to look at before they hop in there as an entrepreneur?
I took a bunch of online education. There's like in the photography industry a lot of educators that you can just search on Google. Photography educators courses could start at $100 up to I paid $3,000 to go to an in-person workshop and learn. I also, as much as I'm like, you don't have to go to college. College isn't a bad thing. You can gain a lot of experience from it, and you can figure out how to use what you learn there to translate into your job. But if you are going to start a business, I know one thing that one of the workshop leaders that told me this, because she actually said you should go to college, and her reason for it was you meet people, and those people will end up eventually hiring you, because most like if you're in the wedding industry, those college people are going to get married eventually. And so for her, she was able to start charging those people, $1,000 a wedding, and now she's up to $10,000 a wedding. And she only met those people because she went to college. So it's not a bad thing, but I think there's more than one option.
Okay. Last question, and I've heard this has been awesome for our kids. Is the world of videography, photography, is it kind of static, or are you constantly having to learning that new technology, continuing to go to school?
We every year buy an educational. So we're purchasing, we used to go to, now that there's COVID, there hasn't really been retreats or workshops and stuff. We used to always every year we used to go to Atlanta and pay for a whole week of just workshop stuff. We're always buying online courses constantly. It's a fast evolving industry. The creative arts always is. And so, yeah, you're constantly going to have to keep up with new trends and investing in yourself and in your business.
Okay, awesome. Thank you very much. It's been awesome hearing from you guys.